You know what I did watch recently that was really satisfying in kind of like a humiliating way, but not for me, so it's okay.
I love humiliation, yes.
I watched your Lego Markiplier Makes video.
Wait, no, I don't like humiliation anymore.
when you showed the pictures up front, for a minute I was like, oh man, I wonder if that's their finished, like, I wonder if they got there. And then, like, you were doing such a good job of sorting, and I was like, I was almost proud, because I was like, he's gonna sort, and he's gonna be like, okay, all these pieces go together, how do I attach these? And if you haven't watched the newest Markiplier Makes video, I don't want to spoil it, I guess, but holy fuck, Mark's floats in the end, okay? There you go, that's the teaser. Mark's floats, and it's supposed to float, I think. I'm not sure.
It is supposed to float. It is, yeah, no. I fucking nailed it.
Mark wins, and it's unbelievably funny.
Ow. You can't make me laugh,
sorry.
Just say somber, sad things. We really got to get into the sad this episode, because otherwise I'm gonna not make it. Sad. What happened in your life that was sad?
Mandy and I went on a vacation to St. Lucia, which was just tough, just so hard. We went to an all-inclusive resort, and then just they didn't just have one pool with a swim-up bar. They had two separate pools with a swim-up bar, so we had to choose between them.
Oh no!
And so we had to go back and forth, and then I got a little sunburned the last day. So,
no, come on.
Yeah, man. So it was just hard, It was just one of those experiences that you just have to try and take something away from it, and then move forward and not let it get to you. So that was tough.
Oh man, I'm sorry about that, man. Are you okay?
Time helps. It's we've been home for a couple days, so it's getting better,
Yeah, man. I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Anything else sad happen?
I actually do have a funny story about the traveling. I mean, a sad story. It's so sad. Okay,
sad.
It
So
ends
sad.
with prison time, I think.
Okay.
And that's not even an inaccurate statement. So we went to St. Lucia. So we had to fly from North Carolina to Miami, and then Miami to St. Lucia. So on the way, Mandy has terrible travel luck. So on our flight down there, we had an hour delay on our first flight. We got on, and they backed up from the gate, and then the pilot was like, no, we got to go back. And we went back. And it was and it was a computer thing, and the resolution to that was the pilot came on and was like, well, they couldn't fix it, so we're just gonna take that computer out and sign some forms and waivers, and we're just gonna fly without that flight computer, but it's okay because we have two other flight computers, it's totally fine. And the whole plane was collectively kind of like, okay. So that was concerning. That was fine, totally fine. And then, of course, while we were there, actual sad news, there was that plane crash in Ethiopia, which was a Boeing 737 MAX 8, some specific model. And one of our flights was a 737. So while we were there, all that stuff was happening in the news, and they were announcing they were grounding all these flights. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're going to ground the flight we need to get back to the United States. We're going to be trapped here. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Didn't turn out, but it was a little annoying and stressful, and also sad that there was that horrific plane crash. And it made me, honestly, for the first time ever, a little bit scared to be on an airplane. We were kind of sitting on the airplane, and it was kind of like, yeah, it's fine. This will be fine. I'm sure they wouldn't let it fly. But so then the craziest part after those aren't that crazy of travel stories. When we were leaving St. Lucia, we get on the plane, and we're sitting there, and we're sitting Mandy and I are halfway back in the plane, and I'm looking up towards the front, and I sort of see one of the people in the front row and a flight attendant sort of going back and forth, and it looked a little tense. The flight attendant was getting a little bit agitated, and I don't know, this dude was probably just being a douchebag or whatever. We have no idea. And so that happens, and at some point the flight attendant is kind of just you know what? I'm done, and walks away, and it's damn, that had a little scuffle. but like no one threw a punch or anything. So we backed away from the gate. We sit there for a minute, and then the pilot comes back on and is like, we're gonna have to go back to the gate. We have a little bit of and so we're like, Mandy looks at me and is like, this is my bad luck. This plane is broken again. Fuck. And we were both kind of like, fuck, man, like, just go home. So what happened next was they opened the door back up, and port police come out, like a police car comes out and parks next to the plane, and the port police come and get on the plane, and they sort of like look at the guy that I had seen fighting with the flight attendant, and then they go and they talk to the flight attendant, and then they talk to the pilot, and then they talk to a bunch of people, and then they go and they talk to the guy, and there's like a lot of conferencing going on. And it ends with the port police go to that guy who'd been pissing off the flight attendant, and they're like, sir, get your bags. And they escort him off the plane. And I have no idea what the fuck happened, but this dude got arrested and kicked off our flight from St. Lucia back to Miami.
Why?
Yeah, well, so
what could he have possibly done?
And it was just something he said, like it was something racist or who knows, like he said something so bad that he got kicked off the flight, and I got maybe not arrested, but like, the airport police had to come and take him, and who knows what they did with him, because clearly they weren't just going to be like, okay, get on the next flight. Like,
what? Wait, what could he have said that got him in legal trouble?
I don't know.
That short a time span?
It was so fascinating. Well, and like it was this thing where like there was a whole, it was like 20 minutes of like talking and other talking, and then they told him to get off the plane, and the whole front of the plane was really tense, and the rest of us in the back of the plane were just like, what's going on? And like, but we're sitting there, and finally when the dude is getting escorted off the plane, the first 10 rows who apparently heard what happened were just like, yes, yeah, woo! And in the back we were like, wait, what? What the fuck happened? And literally, like, we were sitting there for a minute in silence after the applause calmed down, and someone in the back was like, what did he do? And everyone in the front of the plane was kind of like, you don't get to know. That's for us. We lived through this. So no one would say. No one told us.
And they wouldn't even play a game of telephone, like going from seat to seat by the back of the plane. It's like, he stabbed her in the teeth. I couldn't believe it.
He grabbed her bubbles and milked them? What? This game never works. Fucking telephone. No, yeah, no one would whisper back. We never got the story. So the whole rest of the flight, everyone was just like, I wonder what he did. He must have been an asshole. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But it was weird. That was so strange.
Mm-hmm. That's how you play a game of reverse telephone, where the rumors start from the back, where they guess what happens, and then it works its way forward. It's like, oh, do you know what happened? Yeah. He had a bomb embedded in his appendix. It was crazy. And then, like, by the time it gets to the front people think some crazier shit happened in the back of the plane.
If I had been on either end, I would have started such a rumor. Like, you've heard of the shoe bomber, yes? This man was going by the name of the thong bomber, so you can imagine. But the explosives weren't in the thong; they were attached to the thong. Guess where he put them? Yeah, so I have no idea what happened, but it was really fucking weird. And that dude is an asshole, apparently.
Apparently. I mean, maybe the flight attendant's an asshole, and maybe the whole 10 rows. The 10 rows didn't tell you what happened. Maybe it's just a conspiracy against one guy who's innocent.
Yeah, he sits down and he raises his hand. The flight attendant comes over like, "What do you want, sir?" And the guy's like, I'm feeling kind of sick. I get motion sick. You have a bag? Have a bottle of water?" And the flight attendant's just like, a bottle of water? What does this look? I know you just came from the sandals, but yeah, it's just a reverse conspiracy. That one dude is just like, I don't understand. I'm feeling sick. And I just want to fuck that guy.
All the other first class people are just like, oh, get this asshole off it. Oh, finally. Oh, thank you. He was stinking up the place.
God, I hope that's it.
Yeah, well, that was probably very harrowing.
Oh, I have one other funny story.
Yes, please.
From
sad?
so sad, tragic.
Sad, good.
So in St. Lucia, the big airport is on the south side of the island, and the place where we were staying is on the north side of the island. And it's like a Caribbean island, which apparently they're all quite mountainous, and St. Lucia is like extra mountainy. So you have to take a crazy, death-defying, for some reason, race from the airport to the resort. Like you get to the airport and they take your bags and they pile them up and they're like, wait in this room, drink some beer. And then eventually a van comes and they're like, get in this van and they'll definitely take you to the right place. And it's all very unclear. But then you get in the van and the drive from the airport to the hotel is like an hour and 15 minutes. And it's just like blind hairpin turns at 60 miles an hour up and down 20-degree hills in the mountains. Like, and it's like, you'd think like, okay, the vans drive slowly and maybe the people who live on the island who drive normal cars pass the vans, and the vans are passing each other. Like you're going like 60 miles an hour, and on the right side is a van, like a 12-passenger van packed with people that's just like honk honk, like slowly passing you as a dump truck is coming in oncoming traffic, and the other van swerves and like forces your van out of the way. Like I felt like I was gonna die every moment. And so
it literally is. No, keep going.
Well, yeah, so it's fucking crazy. Like, and that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I was shocked. Like, and I'm a car guy. I like going fast in cars. I find that fun and exciting. This was fucking terrifying. It was like cars just passing like fucking crazy. Huge trucks, like huge, like semi-trucks, tractor trailer trucks, like passing you in the van if you're not going fast enough for them. And so, and Mandy and I, well, me less so, but we both can get a little car sick if shit is crazy, and it was real crazy. And I had like a really uncomfortable seat. So this whole ride, I'm like, both hands white knuckle on the like seats in front of me, just like, oh, we're not gonna die. We're not gonna die. It's gonna. So the whole ride, I'm like freaking out, and we're in like the frontmost seat that the passengers can have, basically. Yeah. Super scary. Behind us were three. I think it was two couples, two guys, two girls, who looked exactly like, I don't know, like the characters. I don't know if you've seen Orange Is the New Black, but they looked exactly like how you would imagine 20-something drug traffickers with way too much money and no responsibilities would look. Like they had like expensive luggage. One of them had like a Louis Vuitton man purse that he carried around with his whatever in it, and they were in the airport. They were like shopping for Rolexes. Like they just walked into the airport duty free and were like, no, should I buy this $5,000 Rolex? No, I don't know. Like exactly the kind of person you might imagine if you have any sort of precepts about what a drug trafficking 20-year-old would look like.
I so do, and I've
so
got the exact person in mind.
They were the other people that were in our van, but from when we arrived from the airport to the hotel, and so they were all sitting behind us, literally like hungover, like looking super crunchy. One of them like laid down across one of the benches and was just like taking a nap. So like 20 minutes into this drive, I'm sitting there starting to like hyperventilate, trying not to freak out. And behind us, you just hear them like start to ruffle in bags, and they're like, "How do you want some of that? You want one of these?" And they're like handing stuff around, and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna look. I don't know. They're passing food, and then like immediately after that, I just smell weed. Yeah. They had just been handing around like a weed vape and like edibles or other sorts of drugs or something, and like it got to the point where like they weren't even really hiding it. And at some point, the driver kind of shot them a dirty look and was like, "I fucking hate tourists. I hate you people." And I was like, it's not me, man. I'm just trying to live. But so they were like doing drugs in the van while I was having this near-death experience. And yeah, at some point, like they were really chatty until they all did whatever, smoked or whatever they did. And then they got like silent for like half an hour, like kind of passed out, whatever. And then at some point you just hear like crunching, and one guy gets out a giant bag of peanut M&Ms, and they all descend on this bag of M&Ms and just start eating them, just like, oh God, oh. And one guy literally is like, I don't even like M&Ms, but I'm so fucking high right now. Oh, this is so good. And then like we get to the airport, and I feel like I'm gonna die, and they just pile out and shuffle off. And like we saw them, they stayed at our hotel, so we saw them the whole trip, and they were on our flight back as well. Which when the police pulled up to the plane when we were about to fly back, part of me and Mandy and I like looked at each other, and I think we thought the same thing. And I think she said it out loud, well, whispered it to me, and was like, "Those fucking drug dealers are so arrested right now." Which is not what happened. They didn't get arrested, even though they were clearly trafficking cocaine or something. I have no idea. But yeah, like that was hilarious, and a weird counterpoint to me sitting in the front row of the bus, desperately clinging to the seat in front of me, praying to God that he would save us. And then the kids behind us just getting fucking wasted and eating peanut M&Ms.
See, I've got a crazy image of this fucking van that you've described, because I imagine it's like vans that are painted with racing stripes down the side. They've got local business sponsored decals on the side. They slam up to the airport. They jockey for as many passengers because they need them to lean on the hairpin turns, and they gotta like distribute you guys based on weight. And he like and then there's just these stoner guys in the back like causing up a storm. And man, this is a fun bus.
Well, so you're so right about that, because like when we got there, I saw all these vans, and I thought they were just like privately owned vans, because they're like what you would imagine a normal like Toyota passenger van. Like it has benches, and it's inside is normal, but outside it's like tinted windows, and on the front windshield across the top in like graffiti lettering, they had shit that was like "fuck the police" like across the vans. And the vans, every van, even though they were like business vans for the resorts or whatever, had like chrome custom rims with thin little like way too small low profile tires on it. And the vans were all like lowered, or maybe the tires were just so small they were like 3 inches off the ground. Like they looked like race vans. It was fucking weird.
Awesome.
It was exactly what you think it looked like, and it's scary.
Awesome.